Hi everyone. I should be live. I just want to check there's a bit of a lag. Hi Titch. Hi Who Cares? And Gene Jackson. Are you? I saw you dodging about in the background like the Pink Panther along Rupley. Yeah, I was. Busy day. Who Cares says hi GD. Hope it was a sound journey back. Thank you. Yeah, thanks. Who Cares? I came back yesterday, and as you can probably tell from my voice, I've got the man flu, unfortunately. So yeah, I've basically slept. I slept a long time last night and then woke up coughing um, coughing like I haven't coughed since I quit smoking. To be quite honest, this morning. So I'm in a bad way. I was on Fault Lines earlier. You should go and check that out. You can find it on my Twitter timeline with Garland and Lee. Um, and I'm really tired now. I'll talk about it in a little bit. I just want to make sure enough people watching before I get into it. Everybody's at work. That's the problem, I think. Oh, that will fine. Right. Okay. I'm ill. Everybody's the point. Monday broke me. It was an emotional day. It was really emotional. You saw probably my interview with Emmy afterwards. You know, people were very angry outside Westminster Court. There's more hearings coming up in November and December, but they'll be via video link. We found that out from Emmy. And they're talking about moving the main extradition hearing of Julian Assange through to Belmarsh Prison in February. There were only 5 seats in the public gallery, just 5. This is democracy dying in darkness, and our media turning out the lights. There's a great article. I suggest you should go read it. Oh, no, it's not that one. This one by Craig Murray on his website. It's craigmurray.org.uk. You go and read it. He was there in court. I spoke to him briefly when he left court. I would have done an interview with him, or would have at least asked, but my stream cut at the end of it. My battery just ran out on my phone, even though it was hooked up to my laptop. My phone's knackered, it's broken. Otherwise, I would have grabbed an interview with him. I literally, all the battery power on the camera had gone and everything, because I was live for like over 3 hours. I was there probably four hours, I think, on Monday. I was there live for over 3 of it. I would have, at least asked him for an interview. I shook his hand and said thank you for being a journalist. And what he explains in this is frightening. This is not justice. This is not the United Kingdom court system following the rule of law. The United States had their representatives there, and at times it must have, to me at least, if I was there listening to people, it would have been looking like the United States were directing proceedings in the court. The prosecution lawyers kept going into a huddle with them, etc. Remember, Julian Assange has been no crime really in this country other than a minor violation of skipping bail, of which he was proved right. The reason why he skipped bail was because he thought that there was a sealed indictment and they were about to get him, which was true. He's a political prisoner, which means he shouldn't be extradited at all because he's a political prisoner. And the courts are going along with it anyway. Craig Murray, who I just showed there, has experience with corrupt courts and victims of torture, and what he witnessed on Monday inside that court. As I have spoken to other people, what they witnessed was both a corrupt court and a victim of torture, just as Neil Meltzer said. Public support is what we need here, guys, and what is amazing is the amount of support for Julian Assange is on the rise. No doubt about that. There were more people there this time. There were more people at the Belmarsh rally. And the next one in November, I think it was November the 8th, Emmy said, I'll have to go and don't quote me that. There needs to be more. Because they can't cope with it. They know that public opinion sways, that's it, they won't be able to extradite him because they've got no case there. They're trying to rush it through. They're trying to rush it through under cover of darkness with this media ban almost on his treatment. Look at the, I mean, I was reading how The Guardian covered that. There's no Meltzer, no mention of Nils Meltzer, no mention of psychological torture, no mention of the United Nations special rapporteur on torture coming to the conclusion that this is the collective persecution of 5 countries, 5 powers. Meanwhile, he can't make a defence. He's got no access to anything. They've had 10 years to prepare this. So I won't go into it too much. Obviously, I've done other videos on that. But that what I witnessed there on Monday, for those of you that saw the stream, you saw police being antagonistic. I stepped in at one stage because I could see what they were doing, trying to provoke a reaction. They tried to move the crowd. They tried to move them. And I watched it on the stream, was just watching them, tried to move them, and then the crowd went, no, we're not moving. And they didn't know what to do. They didn't have a backup plan for when people went no to the authorities. Excuse me. So I'll be editing more videos on that, hopefully in the next few days, including my video on that antagonistic police officer, because I watched exactly what happened with that little guy who thought he was a member of the Gestapo. I'll do more videos on that coming forward, but the reason I wanted to really go live in this stream and to explain to you all is I'm tired right now, really tired. I'm ill, and to be quite honest, quite now, I am completely and utterly broke as well. So I'm not just broken because I'm ill, I'm broken financially, and I really need your help. So I appreciate everybody that stepped up, I really do. I don't want to go too much into it, but I need your help. The next couple of days, I'm going to be looking at the responses that people have sent me from MPs. I already have. I've been cross-referring them and what have you. Please keep trying to support that early day motion that Chris Williamson has put forward. Previous videos I've covered that. You should go and check out my channel. Send your email. I'm going to also be writing a response email that you can all copy and paste sections of, depending on how the MP responds, because they'll bring up Sweden, and that you can see that there are 2 or 3 or 4 separate things that they bring up to argue against, and it really is quite simple to shoot them down. So I'm going to construct an email that people can just, take sections of, and in response to when they get a response from their MP. It's really important that we do this and try and get them on board, because a lot of MPs don't understand what's going on here, and they need people to educate them. I know of at least, there's still only 5 people who have signed that early day motion of Chris Williamson, but I know of at least one of them, I believe, who signed that because of this audience sending letters to their MP. So we've already got one person signed on, and I thank that person. So keep the pressure up on our MPs with that early day motion. Remember, they've got to respond. So you've got to get their response and then to respond to them. This is how we drive support, and support is picking up for him. This is the greatest threat to press freedom in the history of the world, in the Western world at least. And our Mockingbird media are spineless. They're not reporting on it. Pressure them to. I noticed Owen Jones blocked me this morning. I noticed this morning anyway. Probably blocked me weeks ago, but yeah, he blocked me. Never said anything too bad about him, other than, whereas Jeremy Corbyn said more about him getting roughed up by a bunch of people for God knows what reason than Julian Assange getting tortured for being the world's best journalist. And he's blocked me. So yeah, that shows how spineless they are. Keep the pressure up. When they respond to you, these journalists do, with the Sweden allegation, we know that this is bullshit now because we know what's happened. This is why they're quiet on it, and this is why they're not reporting on it, because it's highlighting all their bullshit, not just with regards to Julian Assange, but also regards to Russiagate, etc., etc. You know, there's a lot of dominoes that could fall over here, and they are shitting themselves. So when they do mention Sweden, if your MP mentions Sweden, or people from the press, or people in arguments, tell them very clearly there have never been any charges in Sweden. That's number one. Number two, the investigation was dropped many times. It wasn't a case, it was an investigation. It was dropped many times. They interviewed Julian for 2 days inside the Ecuadorian embassy, and the case was dropped. The investigation only starts up again whenever, there's something in the media about Julian Assange. But Sweden, you know, make that point. Neither girl involved here has accused Julian Assange of rape. Neither of them. Make that point. Make the point that this ripped condom that was the only piece of evidence that was submitted didn't have Julian Assange's DNA on it. In fact, I seem to recall it didn't have the girl's DNA on it either. That's impossible. Remember that this ripped condom and this allegation came in the middle of multiple consensual sexual encounters between them. And remember, they, the women, and especially the woman involved here, did not want him charged with anything, only that he take a test. And then, once you've explained all that to them, just explain that this was obviously just all along trying to get him into custody so they could open the seal indictment in the United States and charge him with these charges and extradite him. And guess what? That's exactly what happened, proving once again that Julian Assange is right. If any journalist mentions this Sweden case, tell them in no uncertain terms you expect better from your journalists. Because the Sweden case is bullshit, and any media outlet not reporting the facts. They can report the Sweden stuff, but if they don't report the facts that I have just reported as well, you know, the fact that, hey, neither girl has accused Julian of rape, shouldn't that be a headline? Ripped condom, no DNA, that should be a headline. In the middle of multiple sexual encounters between the two, that should be a headline. If you're going to speak about it, tell the truth. And if you're not telling the truth in that way, you know what? You're just as fucking bad as the rest of them. We take allegations of rape seriously. There were never any allegations of rape. Not from the women. Not from the women. Kathy Lloyd, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing the next couple of days. I'm going to be putting the ducks in a row and get my ducks in a row with regards to the website, and writing out an email explaining all these things to the MPs and getting people on board and pressuring them. If enough of us do it, we can save this man's life. And if we don't, I don't think he'll make it. They're torturing him here. They are torturing the world's best publisher. I saw an interview that Afshin Rattansi did with John Pilger and with Chris Williamson, who launched that early day motion that I'm urging everybody to write to their MP about. And he mentioned multiple times in that report that the world's most famous publisher Do you know the editor of the New York Times? Do you know his name? Do you know what the editor's name is of The Guardian, for instance? I do, actually. I couldn't tell you the one in the New York Times there. I know I could point him out. Off the top of my head, don't know his name. Times the same in this country. News of the World can tell you who the editors are. People know who the editor of WikiLeaks is. Most famous publisher in the world. 7 times nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Being tortured on home soil. Being tortured on home soil. And our media are not even telling people. I explained to Garland and to Lee today. They're not telling people for a reason. I've had Christy Doff on my channel from the Assange movement. And she explains when people find out the truth, they're horrified. And this is why they don't want people to find out the truth. Because our media are all in it with them. They're not the Fourth Estate. The Fourth Estate is in Guantanamo Bay and was at court and has reported on those factual findings at court today or on Monday. People like John Pilger and Craig Murray. They're the real Fourth Estate here. I'm sorry, I'm getting angry now. I'm going to go. Right. Thanks very much for your support, anybody. I really need it. I really do. And I really appreciate it. Remember, I'm not just doing the Assange stuff. The Assange stuff recently is really important. But I do other videos as well, and I will be doing them in the coming weeks and months. And I appreciate your support. Appreciate everything you do. So I'm going to try and go now and rest and recuperate and fix myself because I'm broken. All right. Speak to you in a few days, people. I'll do a video explaining what to do with the responses to MPs very soon. Peace and take care.